Ladies and gentlemen, if you have followed my channel for any time at all, you'll know that I do play Fishing Barent Sea. It's one of my favorite games. I've been playing it since the beta when Mr. Micah bought it for me. It's funny, I found a game in this game that I really love. I didn't think it was going to be anything that would be interesting to me, but it actually turned out to be quite a fun game. The reason why we're making this video tonight is because there is a bit of good news for those of you that wanted this game but don't have a PC. It is now available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, I believe PlayStation 4, and then also the Nintendo Switch. Now for me, that's great news. I am a Nintendo Switch player. That's the only console I have. I play everything on PC. So the Switch is like a weird thing for me. But I am excited because the Switch not only now has Farm Simulator 17 and Mud Runner, but now it also has one of my other favorite games, which is Fishing Barent Sea. And Chris was kind enough to pass me a copy. Now tonight we're looking at the PC version because I have no way of recording it off the Switch. I will say this about the Switch version. It does not have as good graphics as the PC version, but that's to be expected because the Switch is definitely more of a mobile type processor, and so it's not going to have the ability to make such a full 3D rendering or depth of textures, that kind of stuff. But it still looks good enough to play. The interface is a little bit different, but the frame rates are good. The gameplay is the same. It's got the same mini games. It's got the same boats. Now, interestingly, with the console version, they're calling it the Complete Edition. And that includes all of the DLCs that came out for the PLC. So if you're buying it for the Xbox or you're buying it for the Nintendo Switch, you get everything that is in the main game and the DLCs. You get the King Crab DLC and all the ships that came with the line and net fishing DLC. So that is pretty cool because, well, one of the nice things about the game is that those DLCs really add a lot, especially the King Crab DLC. That adds quite a bit of gameplay to this game. So it's fun to be able to have that additional gameplay included already. And as a Switch player, I always find that, like the Farming Sim 17, we get left out. We don't get any DLCs. We don't get any additional maps. We don't get anything else. But these developers decided to put everything in, and so I'm super happy that the Switch Edition has everything, including the DLCs, because usually people that develop for the Switch don't even care or bother for us Switch people. They'll do it for the Xbox and they'll do it for the PlayStation, but they don't, for whatever reason, they decide, well, probably because the Switch is a smaller console and it doesn't have a lot of memory space on it and it doesn't have a lot of resources, so they figure, hey, let's, But I want to just thank, Chris for passing me a copy of this game on the Switch. Now I can play my favorite fishing game wherever I go, and I will continue. Even though I'm doing the review on it and showing you the PC version, I will be playing the Switch version a lot because I do travel a lot and I do take my Switch with me when I go, and I also use my Switch when I go to bed. I lay down in my bed and cozy up and play the Switch, and so when I go to the restroom, anyway, thanks for pointing that out, Wifey Poo. No problem. All right, so anyway, we're going to go cruising around a little bit. I want to show you a little bit about this game. There's several different types of fishing that you can do. There's several different types of fish, too. The first type is going to be line and net fishing. So let's take a look at a line and net fishing boat. So hang on one second here. We are in the store where you buy the boats. This is at Hammerfest, the main city. There's a bunch of little cities around the map that you can go sell fish, but Hammerfest is the only one where you can buy and sell, buy boats. Once you own a boat, you cannot sell it back. So there's no trade-ins. You have to earn your way to each ship. You can't just sell a boat and buy a new boat. You start with the Borgia. It's a line-only fishing boat. And then you have several other line fishing boats that are available. You have the Yazzie. I wouldn't even bother with this boat, to be honest with you. Toby, which is really expensive for what it is. One of the things that this game has is crew management. So you can assign crew members to do different tasks on your ship, including repair. They can pull the lines in and help you catch the fish. If you're using nets, they can pull the nets in. They can gut. They can also freeze the fish. They can stack the fish. And so your crew members, and as they do work, they level up. So this game is kind of neat because you actually take those crew members and you want to keep them as long as possible. And when you move from one ship to another, you can keep those crew members at a hotel in the cities that are around. so that let's say you get a really big ship and you have 5 crew members, then you want to take one of your smaller boats out. Well, you can keep them on. They just stay at a hotel waiting for you. You have to pay for them, but it pays off in the long run to keep your crew members, because as they get better at doing things, they're going to earn you more money. So you want to make sure that you get good crew members. They also have stamina and stuff like that, and we'll go over that a little bit further in the video. But this is the first ship in the list of ships that we have that can take crew members. It's a good training ship because it has 2 different positions that they can run. But that's the Full Albion. We have a shark in. This is this boat does line and net. It's the first boat that does both, I think. Yeah, these are all line ships. Once you get to the Sharkin, now we're looking at or Jarkin, we're looking at a boat that can do both line fishing and net fishing. This is one of the most flexible boats in the game. This one not only does line and net fishing, but as you can see, it also can catch king crab, and that's part of the king crab DLC. So pretty neat stuff there. Here we have the Sharky. This is another 2 crew member ship. It does line and net fishing. The fixes for those of you that don't want to mess around with the crew, and it only does line fishing, but it holds a lot of fish. This boat makes a lot of money, but I like having the crew members do stuff for me. Here's the Vabiki Catherine. This is a boat that holds 5 crew members. It has a refrigerator, a freezer, a boxing section. This is like the works. They call it a paragraph boat. They designed these to get around the 50-foot regulation taxes. So they made the boat, I think it's 49 feet. If we look at it, it's only 34 feet actually. Maybe the Snarset's 49. Yeah, Snarset's 49. That's another paragraph boat. Here we have a purpose-driven king crab fishing boat. This has a crew of 8, and believe me, you'll use them. This is a very tedious boat to use, but it'll make you a ton of money really fast. Got the Moby Dick. That's a pre-paragraph boat. This is the largest net and long line fishing boat that's in the game, but it's really slow. Also holds 5 crew members. It has everything that the Snarset and the Vabiki Catherine have, but once again, you have to be patient because this thing is slow as snot. Then we move on to the trawlers. We have a pelagic trawler. This is the lunar bow that you saw me running around earlier in, and this is a large ship. Obviously has 7 crew members, so you really only need 4. Makes you a lot of money. You can see I have 17 million krona. Yeah, I made that with this ship, and I did it very quickly. Now, we are in the end of October. There's only 2 or 3 days of this ship's availability left. Once you hit November, the season closes, and you can only use the smaller fishing boats. So this boat is great until the season ends. Same with the Hermes. The Hermes is a bottom trawler, not pelagic, and there's a lot of controversy in real life about these boats because they tear up the bottom of the ocean. But you have the Hermes available. That's a little bit larger than the lunar bow, but not much. Actually, the lunar bow might be larger. They're close. Let's see, 180 feet, 227. So actually, the lunar bow is the largest boat in the game. I love this ship. It's a grind to get to it, but it is cool once you got it. So we'll take out the Borga so you can see what the game looks like, because this is the initial ship that you start with. Once again, I wouldn't bother upgrading this. Just run it like it is, and then upgrade to the Selfie when you're ready, because the Selfie's the dollar for dollar. The Selfie's the best second ship in the game. So let's go ahead and activate the Borga, and you can see all my crew members got moved to my crew house. And so let's take a look around here, and we're going to take a look at the interface. We have the ability to skip time when you're in port. I wish you could do this at sea, but you can't. We have a map that shows us all the regions, and you can see I've unlocked a lot of the map. These gray areas I haven't unlocked yet. The way that you unlock them, you have radar on your boat. The bigger the boat, the bigger the radar, and then you can upgrade that radar to a larger range. So I need to take my largest boat, which is the lunar bow, and it's got the biggest radar on it already. And I need to take that out to the section of sea that's gray and just run the ship up and down, and it'll chart all those waters for me. Because when I click this shows me where all the fish are. See that? The hot spots are where all the fish are. That's where all the king crab are. That's where all the cod are. Haddock, pollock, and redfish. And those fish, they tend to group together. So as long as you see where they all are, that's usually where I go. Unless I'm doing king crab, then I specifically choose king crab because you want to go to the hot spots for them specifically with a king crab ship. But we have our our map, and we can set waypoints by clicking on this, and you can put one here and one there. And here's unfortunately, the nearest hotspot's way out here, so we're going to have to do some traveling. And we're going to go out there. So we're going to take the Borga out, and we're going to sail to this location. So here we are. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to check in town. We can look at our weather forecast. You can see it's October, so the weather's getting bad. It's windy, it's cold. Yuck. Weather doesn't really affect you aside from it gets really wavy, and so you can get seasick while you're out there, but you can still work and everything even when the waves are bad. It makes it a little bit harder to do some of the things, especially when the boat gets full. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go to our long lines. And once again, the interface on the Nintendo Switch is different. I think the Xbox will be a little bit different too, but the ideas and the symbols are the same. So right now we have two unbaited 250-foot long lines. Those two long lines at 250 will fill up the ship unless we do a bad job catching. So let's go ahead, and what I want to do is I'm going to add two 500s. What we do is when we go out there, we're going to throw out a 500 and a 250, and we'll leave the other ones on the ship. But we're going to bait all of them. So I'm going to bait for... These show you, if you put down the information, they show you. This one catches mostly... I think that's... Hold on. Here we go. We're going to bait that. I want to look at it again. No, not haddock. Pollock. So pollock, cod's on top there. Then we have haddock, and then redfish and pollock. So then what we do is we take, we got one 250 baited that way. We'll bait the other 250 with this, and this will pull in more of the cod, I believe, or again, I don't know. We're not doing tutorials right now, so I'll get into that better when I do tutorials for you guys. And there are a bunch of tutorials up there already, but just mix it up a little bit is the whole point. You don't want to do everything the same. You want to have different fish so you get a nice wide range of fish that you're pulling in. And so there's that. Once again, we also the town. You can see in our crew house, these are all my crew members. You can hire and fire them. You can tell this guy's recently new. This is his energy level. These are my other guys. They all got the energy level on everybody else. They've been around for a while. Now Borga, this guy's Einar and Kara. These guys are both new too. But Rudy, Karen, George, these guys have been with me for almost two real life years. And you can see in their stats, like look how good George is at hand gutting and freezing and stuff. So you kind of look at what they're good at and you hire them according to that, and then they just get better as they go. So let's go ahead and take the ship out. I know you're dying to see the action. So with each boat, you can walk around a little bit on the boat, and we'll get to that. Now one thing I noticed with the Switch version that I don't necessarily love, well, two things. One, the graphics aren't as good. So it tends to look a little bit less polished. And the second thing that I noticed with the Switch is that you can't scroll in and out like this. You're pretty much stuck like right here. You can zoom around the ship and do everything else that the camera does, but you can't zoom any closer to the ship. You're just basically stuck at like this view. It's not a huge deal, but I don't love it. Well, look out, there's traffic. There are other boats in this game, by the way, that you run into. This guy's having a hard time. They do crash sometimes, too. It's pretty comical. He's going to wipe out, man. Oh, look at that. Watch out. Stay away from that dude. He's obviously been drinking. So, he's going to dock? No, he's going to come out. Look out. Come on, get past him. All right, so let's go to the in-cab view, and you can see here as we look around. You can get into each ship, and this is true of all three versions. There's our first waypoint there. And we can actually fast travel too, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We have our map. We can change that to see sonar and map. It doesn't really show us very well because it's so small, but on the bigger ships, they get bigger. This shows you how much capacity fish you have. Right now we have nothing, so it's black. As you catch fish, it'll turn red, and then once you gut those fish, it'll turn yellow. Got a clock with the time. We have all kinds of lights to turn on and off. Searchlight, interior lights. You have a horn. The steering wheel moves, and then you can actually use you have binoculars that you can use. I forget which one that is. There we go. Sorry. You can look around with binoculars. Binoculars. The next thing that we can do is we can jump out of the driver's seat. I think it's F, if I remember right. Yeah. And then we can come over here and go downstairs. Can light the furnace if we're cold. I think this is the only ship with a furnace in it. That's probably not real safe, honestly. Who's driving? I don't know. Danged if I know. Return to the wheelhouse. We can also go outside. Now, some of these ships aren't as in-depth. Some have more things you can walk around. Some have less. Now, in the Switch version, you cannot drive from out here, but in the PC version, you can. There's the gutting table. Over here is where we catch the fish, and you'll see all that in action once we get out there. But on pretty much every ship that you have in the game, you can walk around. Most of them you can get to all parts of the ship. Up front even. Sometimes you can climb up to the front and get on the front of the ship, and it's pretty neat. Some of the larger ships have an engine room and a wheelhouse. So let's talk fast travel. We can get into our map, and you can see there's our spot. We can click this and we'll fast travel to that spot. Now be careful when you fast travel, because fast traveling will, even though it gets you there faster, it burns up 50% more fuel. So if you're going to fast travel a lot, you got to make sure you watch your fuel tank. You will get fuel in any of the ports. They all have fuel available for your ship, but just be careful that you don't run out of fuel. So we're going to go ahead and fast travel. Once again, we got quite a ways to go, and even the fast travel with this boat takes a long time because it's slow. 7 knots top speed. Once again, I would not recommend upgrading this boat. I would let it, I would just keep fishing with it until you have enough money to buy the next boat. It probably will take you about 15 trips to get out there and do it, but that's why the game's a little bit grindy. So we get out here, it's the middle of the night. See the Aurora Borealis, and we're going to change view back to our external view. Make sure we're in the right spot here. We're going to take a look at our boat and make sure that it's right in the middle of the hot spot. We need to turn left a little bit. And you can see here we've already used a couple bars of fuel getting out here, so we got to watch it. Now, we're going to set the gear. We're going to pick our, let's see, 500 with mackerel. Let's set that first. Basically, it does it for you. I just press the set button, and we're just going to wait. The ship will control speed. You can steer, but the speed is controlled by the computer while you're doing this part. So our 50-meter line is almost out. There it goes. Boop. Now we have to get about 50 meters away from that, and we can deploy our second line. And that's all you'll need to deploy. Even though we have 2 more lines, you'll see why I do that. But basically, tomorrow we're going to come back out here. We're going to pick these lines up and deploy the other 2 lines. We'll take these lines back and rebait them again. Once you've used them once, the bait goes, and you have to refill the bait. All right, so now we're going to put out our 250 line with our shrimp, because we did the mackerel. So we got 250 with shrimp and a 500 with mackerel. And that's it. So that's the drop. And we'll go ahead and head back into shore. So we're going to look at our map. And I'm going to fast travel back. You'll notice that the cones are red. There's a light system that goes on with this, or a color system. They'll turn yellow, then they'll turn green, and then they'll turn blue. At about 18 and a half hours, they turn blue. That's the best time to pick them out. Then they'll turn green, and then yellow, and then red again, and then you've lost all the fish. So it goes red, yellow, or orangish, green, and then blue, and then green, orangish, and then red again. So you have those stages. And once again, 18 hours is about when you want to pick them up. You can see time goes faster in this game than real time. So this has been out for 17 minutes already. This one's been out for 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and place our waypoints back to town, and we'll see how long it takes us to get home. Sorry, we're going to go to this more southerly port because it's closer. We'll get right in there, and we're going to fast travel. It's going to take us some time to get there, so you can see these lines are going to mature as we travel. 3 hours have gone by, 4 hours. Once again, we want to pick them up at 18 hours. So we need to plan that into our trip back. It's taken us, gosh, almost 4.5 hours. 5 hours. Oh. It took us almost 5 hours to get back. So at this point, I would say we're only going to rest in port for a little bit of time. We'll speed up. As you get close into the purple area here, you just press the home button and you will be home. On the computer, I think it's over here on the left, but I think maybe up here. We'll see. And make sure to refuel, because we got a long way to go back out. There it is. There's the house. We're gonna dock on the switch this button's over on the right. So just be aware that the interface is a little different. So while we're here in town, we're going to go to our fish market. I'm sorry, to our dock. We're going to fill up 632 krona. Ouch. Painful. Fix the hull if we want. You don't have to fix the hull until it gets bad, but... Okay, and then we're going to look at the map again. We have, let's see, it took us about 7 hours to get here. We're at 11 hours, so I'm going to say 2 hours. We don't want to go too long. You kind of have to calculate in your mind what you need as far as rest before you get back, so that you get back right at the right time. It's better to be early than late, because if you're late, then you're never going to get those fish. But if you're early, you can wait. So we're going to skip 2 hours, then we're going to go ahead and launch from the dock and get heading out of port here. Turn our running lights on. Should have had them on before because it was night, but whatevs. All right. So let's chart our course back. I take this right here and around the island. Sorry, I clicked. My wife hates when I do that. She's like, "Don't click. Don't do it." All right. There's our first long line, and we're gonna travel. And we're going to watch these. They just turned yellow. They're going to turn green while we're traveling. And they might turn blue, but... Oh, Lord. 16 hours. 17 hours. Oh, no. We might not be there in time. I shouldn't have rested. 19. Oh, we missed it. 20. 21. Oh, we did terrible. I'm so used to a faster boat. So we've missed the peak. We're still going to fill the boat up, though, because with that 500-foot line and the other line, it's enough to really fill this boat up. But it's better to be in the blue if you can. So I screwed that up. I shouldn't have taken those 2 hours. I should have just come right back. That's the one fault that I have with this game. I really, really wish they would have put in the ability to rest at sea. I mean, you got beds and seats and stuff on the boat where you could rest, but they have not given us the option to rest. And I'm hoping that the next version of the game has that in it. But as of right now, it doesn't. So, all right, slow down. So that sucks. We missed the best part there. I'm going to get my mouse over the gear not in range button, and we'll be able to pick this up here in a sec. So we're going to click that, and it's going to ask us, do you want to haul the long line? Yes. And we're going to go ahead and haul this. Boop. So there's a little mini game here. If you hit the blue, you get a much higher score. Now I have a high-end clicky thing. I have a high-end fish impaler. That gives me a 10% bonus on the size of the fish. You can buy those kind of things in the game. Anyway, I'm kind of tutorialing this for you a little bit, but it's more about the gameplay and seeing, how you play this game. So there we go. So this is line hauling. Once again, we also have net hauling and king crabbing, and then we have pelagic trawling, and we also have the other kind of trawling. But this is it gives you an idea. Each type of fishing has a mini game that goes along with it, except for the trawling. Trawling requires a more technical approach, and you kind of control the ship and allow it to do the fishing for you. But you have to, steer it and make sure that you're getting into the fish to catch them. It's a little bit more technical. Definitely watch my channel to see some of the tutorials I have out there on how to do it. I'll be posting one for the lunar bow pretty soon. So there. We've caught all these different fish, and we're going to go ahead and put them in there. We don't want to gut them yet, because we need to cut the other fish. Wow, we really did not get a good catch. That's really bad, actually. That was a 500-foot line. Not good. Not good. We should have way more fish than that, but once again, we were late, so that's probably why we didn't do as well. So let's take a look here. I'll show you gutting in a second here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this other line in, and I will catch up with you. Before we sell the fish, we have to gut them. I'm going to show you that. There's a little side game here that we start and we gut the fish by hand. As you get the bigger ships, you'll get a better, you get an automatic gutting table, and you just set a crew member there and he'll gut them for you. And you get an automatic 4-star gut when you use the gutting machine and a good crew member. Now, a real good crew member will get it up to 5-star, and you'll get a lot of money. The better the fish are gutted, the more money you make. So you want to get at least 4-star. I don't usually get 5-star because it's hard. But if it's perfect, you get a 5-star, and you'll actually get like a 30% increase in the price or value of the fish. So I will say it was a little bit harder to gut on the Nintendo Switch than it is on here with the mouse and keyboard. The mouse makes it a lot easier to gut. There we go. So we've gutted our fish, our half load of fish, and let's go ahead and take them back to the bay. I'm going to go ahead and fast travel to do that. I'm not going to bother putting out my lines now because we're done with this. But I think that just gives you kind of an idea of how the game plays. And once again, it's a grinding game. I'm going to let you grind your way up. I will be putting some more tutorials out, more modern ones. The first set of tutorials I did, I got to be honest, I didn't know what I was doing in game. Now, I do now because I've been playing it for 2 years. But I do have a series of videos I'm going to link for you that on the playlist you'll see them. They start with the Yazzie, and they go through each ship all the way up to the Moby Dick. So I haven't finished the Lunar Bow yet, which I'll be doing soon. But I have to wait till next season, quote unquote, in game before I can do the Hermes, because I need to save up to buy the Hermes, and then I can't do anything during the winter because the season's over for mackerel. So we have to wait till the next season, and then we'll get our mackerel in using the Hermes. But for now, keep an eye out for that Lunar Bow tutorial, the newest Lunar Bow tutorial from this year, 2019-2020. But you can watch those other ship reviews and kind of see what each ship does. That's like a more in-depth review of each ship, and which ones to aim for when you're playing the game, which ones are going to serve you best as you try to grow your fishing business. So anyway, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them and help you guys out. And I thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this look at fishing Barents Sea, and will enjoy the game as much as I have on your console, or even on the PC if you haven't seen it before and you're all of a sudden this is the first time you've seen it going, wow, I never saw you play this game before, Arthur. It is a great game, and once again, be sure to check out the tutorials that I put in that playlist for each ship. And in that tutorial, I kind of go through using each ship, so you'll also get an idea of how to net fish, how to line fish, how to run your crew, how to king crab fish with both, because the two boats are different. One of them you do manually, the other one you use a crew to do it. So there's two different ships that do king crab. I show you how to use those. And once again, when the Lunar Bow tutorial comes out, you'll see how to do the pelagic and bottom trawling. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's sell our fish, and then I will bid you adieu. Here is the fish sell. We're going to go into port, and it tells us, oh, look, you have this much money worth of fish on board. Let's see what we actually get. We made $41,000 on a half ship full. Now my fish, this boat has been upgraded. I would say on a stock boat with decent gutting, you're going to make about 40 for a full boat. So hopefully that helps you guys. But anyway, have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. Be sure to watch my other videos on this game. And once again, I'm going to release a new set of tutorials. And I might start over again from scratch and kind of work my way up again, this time using the Line and Net DLC and the King Crab DLC, because it changes the route that you go from the route that I went originally before we had those boats. So anyway, see you next time, guys. Stay warm on the cold seas of Barent. And we'll see you next time. Bye.